Welcome back to Jamming in Their Repair. I'm not even sure where to start with this video. I guess I'll start at the beginning. About a month ago, I received a phone call from a gentleman from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, wondering if I would be willing to help them out by installing a gaming computer for a child of theirs. I thought, sure, right here in Ripon, and I often do community service stuff. When we have a small business, you have to get out in the community and do some stuff every now and then. So I thought this would be an opportunity to go do some good. So sure, sign me up. Well, come to find out, it was a gaming chair with a gaming computer attached to it. And it is this chair right here. Now, I saw it was a chair about a week before I had to install the chair, and I thought to myself, if I need to, I can call some friends and get some help installing this chair. It shouldn't be too hard, right? An hour before I needed to install the chair, I finally received the directions on how to install the chair. And the videos that were provided were horrible. But I'm going to use them here. I'm going to edit those videos into something that makes sense for the next guy that's trying to install this chair. So here's an edited down version of all their videos with me explaining some things that I found, because their videos have no audio. It's just music playing, very annoying, depressing music. So I'm going to edit all that out of there and go ahead and try and put together a short video, show you how to put this chair together, and we'll see how it goes. Part 1, the unpacking. The chair comes in two boxes. You're going to need a screwdriver and a hammer to unpack it. You need to bend the tabs on the top. You need to remove the top first. You need to bend those tabs up with a hammer. You gotta get them straight because they slide off the tabs, okay? So you gotta make sure they're not all crinkly and bent. You'll have a hard time. Once you have all the tabs pointing upwards, you can go ahead and start prying off the top. And it takes a little effort, but it'll come off. Once you get the top off, you can go ahead and straighten out the tabs on the sides of the box. Pretty much the same procedure. Straighten out the tabs and hammer them apart. Once you get all the tabs loose, you can start peeling off the sides, and you should be left with a chair on a pallet. You just need to remove the top of the smaller box to get at all the components inside the box. 2, the contents of the box. Here you just need to unpack the box and check that you have all the parts in the packing list and take all the bubble wrap off. You can spend a lot of time just doing this part. So take your time, organize it, and you'll be ready for the next step. Part 3, removing the base from the box. You need to find the Allen wrenches that came with the kit and the metric wrench as well. You need to remove 4 fixing plate locations on the base. Each of them have 1 screw in them each. I think they're Allen heads. You just need to remove the screws that attach to the base. You do not need to remove the screws from the packing crate. So take a few minutes and remove these screws. Remove the two fixing bolts on the front of the base and pull the tabs back away from the base. And this is where you're going to need a couple of friends. This base is kind of heavy. Lift it up and out of the case. So pull the plastic off. The white part on top are stickers. You're going to have to peel those off. I decided to wait. Put the screws back in front so you have somewhere to keep them. Part 4, remove the cockpit fixing plates. There are 6 fixing plates you need to remove. Just like on the base, they are bolted into the cockpit and onto the pallet. Now the video here shows that you can just loosen the bolts that go onto the pallet, but if you read the description it says you should remove them. So remove all the bolts. I also recommend that you go buy yourself a bit for your screw gun or drill or whatever, and don't use this Allen wrench that came with the kit. You'll be at this thing for 4 hours, and go ahead, leave a comment and ask me how I know it'll take 4 hours. So invest in a drill to get these off. Now this is the front arm that comes down. You gotta remove all the bolts for this to come apart properly. They don't do it in this video, but you have to do it. And if you read the subtitles here, it clearly explains that to you. So, once you get all the bolts out, you're pretty much going to be good to go on getting this off of the pallet. And again, I think you're going to, the way they get it off the pallet is a little bit wishful thinking for most of us, because if you are like me, they didn't have enough room in the living room to maneuver this thing around much, so you had to put the base in the position in the room where you wanted the chair, and then hopefully you had enough room for all the movements and actuations. So kind of hard. You have to actually lift the chair up, and that's coming up in a minute, but you can see how they moved brackets out of the way on this video, and the back brackets they just bent out of the way. It says you're supposed to remove them, so that's alright. Install the cockpit to the base. Here they show a very luxurious room to work. This was not my situation. We were stuck in a corner. It took 3 guys a lot of effort to lift this chair into place, and I suspect you're going to be in the same situation. Now, you need to kind of get this thing close and lined up to the holes, and you get 2 brackets, well, 2 L brackets and 2 straight brackets. The straight brackets go on the front, and this is pretty self-explanatory. You just sort of get the brackets installed so the base meets the chair. Now, you see what he's doing here, he had to unscrew the screw that was already there. This whole chair comes with all the screws installed already. They don't come in a bag. You do get a bag of screws, but all the screws you need you have to take out of the place that you're going to put them. So here he's uninstalling the screw that and then putting the bracket in, and then putting the screw right back in. So this is why I tell you, man, you need a screw gun, because you're unscrewing everything first, then screwing it back in. It's twice the work. All right, so those are the L brackets, and of course they're loose because you kind of jiggle and wiggle a little bit to get things lined up here, and that's all right. So once you have the fronts all taken care of, you need to go and install the straight brackets on the back. And these brackets go in on an angle, and of course again you have to remove the screws from the place in which you're going to put the brackets. So yeah, you spend a lot of time unscrewing screws here. Self-explanatory, straight bracket goes right back in. This goes on an angle, so it's a little confusing because there's another hole right down below it, and you think it would go there. It doesn't. It goes on an angle. So, and you do this on the other side. And once you get everything lined up and straightened out, you can tighten it all down. There you go. Be sure to go back and tighten down all of your bolts. Part 6. Install the main arm. Here you're going to need the larger Allen wrench and wrench to remove a bolt. Take off the cover on the back of the machine. You'll see there's a long bolt with a nut on it. This is a nylock nut, okay? So you're going to have to use both wrenches to unscrew it. Now, don't drop that nut down the hole. It will go into a place that's very difficult to get it out of. And so be careful with that nut. Save you about 10 minutes of goofing around looking for a nut. And you need to remove both of these nuts. What these are actuator arms that you're going to attach the upper, what did they call it, swing arm to it. So you need to have somebody lift up the upper swing arm while the other guy guides the shafts into position. And basically you're going to take the bolts you just took off and slide them through the swing arm and line up the holes. You got to get the spacers in place and put your bolt through. It's really not that difficult. These, go ahead, tighten them down. You don't need to crank them. You do need to get them snug. You don't want them falling off. You need to have the wrench. So this goes in pretty easily, and you just need to do the same thing on the other side. Locate the anti-fall plate and remove the screws from the plate. You'll need those to install it on the chair itself. This stops the chair from accidentally falling down and smacking you in the head. So it's a pretty simple safety device. Recommend installing it. Alright, after you remove the plastic wrapping from the back of the seat, you need to stand it up and turn it around. There are 4 screws on either side of the seat. 2 of them you just need to have loose because they will drop down into a slotted bracket down at the bottom, right where he's working right now. There's a slotted bracket in there. You need to drop that down into those slots. Now, our chair was very difficult to get into those slots. It took 2 of us struggling with the thing, and a lot of pushing and pressing and grunting and groaning to get what he's tightening down now into place. So it was difficult, and you may struggle with that. Now the upper two screws are on a swing bracket um, for pivoting the chair, so you do need to kind of wrestle with that a little bit. It's not too hard. That part's pretty easy. But then before you do the upper bracket, you gotta get both of the lower brackets seated in their little grooves properly first before you try to do the top brackets. It'll save you a lot of frustration. So we did struggle with this part for longer than I would like. Part 8. Install the monitor bracket. Of course, you've already unwrapped all of this stuff, so go ahead and find this front cover. And you have to completely disassemble this thing. And here you go, you see he went and got himself a drill. He was done with that Allen wrench. And that's the right move, because there's a whole bunch of screws in this thing to take apart. So strongly recommend getting yourself a drill and a bit to do all these. Disassemble the whole thing. You need to get the LED panel out of there. You need to remove the center mount for the center screen. And you need to keep some of the screws. Take them up to the swing arm and line up the two holes there. And put in a couple of M6 screws that you just took out a few minutes ago. Get that all screwed back in there. It's a little fiddly. You notice the display port cables are still bent up towards the top. You'll also see there's paper on there right above where he's working. Don't remove the paper. It's real tempting to peel the paper off of there. Don't do it. It's actually a light diffuser, and the paper stays on there. Now, you need to remove the monitor mounts. These are the triple monitor mounts, one on the left, one on the right. And of course, you've already removed all the plastic. Now, these things are really put together quite well, but they're a little overkill if you ask me. But yeah, I'm not the one paying the liability insurance on mine. So they just simply screw onto the head, if you want, with 4 screws. I love this guy's camera work. Sorry about this. This is not me doing the camera work. This is factory provided videos of, well, I don't know if it's factory. Somebody doing it. Anyways, so get these nice and tight. And there are 6 screws on the left side that hold on the monitor bracket. You're going to have to take those off as well. So again, screw gun, well worth it. You're going to have to do the left side and the right side. Alright, once we get the brackets mounted on the canopy, we're going to mount the monitors later, so we'll come back to that in a little bit. Installing the keyboard tray. In order to do this, we must first raise the top of the chair up. So you need to plug in the power cord. On the back of the chair here, it's a standard PC power cord. Plugs right in. And when you do that, you need to rotate the canopy to the open position. And you'll see the top go up. What they don't show on this video is on the right hand armrest, the disc rotated by 90 degrees. So when it's all the way up, you need to remove the screws. And again, this guy's got the right idea with the screw gun. The next part, a little bit of fiddling around here. Need to go get the tray and unwrap it. You've already done that, right? Alright, make sure the 2 bolts underneath the keyboard are screwed in about halfway is all they need to be screwed in. Bring the keyboard over now. I found it was useful for two people to do this. What they don't show on this video is the hole is not a round hole, it's kind of an oblong hole, so you can tell which direction to put the tray in. This guy seemed to do alright with one hand though. Put in the 4 screws, tighten them down, and you should be good to go here. Alright, once you have all the screws tightened down, lower the tray and press the close cabin button. You'll see the cabin come down from the top and the tray swing into place. Now, a little bit of adjustment with those 2 screws I mentioned earlier, and you want it to come up and roll, and there's a little roller on the right hand side where his right hand is right now, and he's adjusting the screw with his left hand, and you want the tray to just barely touch that roller there and roll into place. That's all you need. Works pretty well. Part 10, wire connections and functions. On the back of the pedestal you'll find a whole bunch of cables. Mostly they are DisplayPort cables for the 3 monitors up front. There are a bunch of USB cables and I think an audio cable. But here what we're basically doing is attaching the base of the unit to the chair itself. And there are 2 connectors that do that. This red, yellow, and blue wire, and there's one over here in the bundle as well. You gotta kind of pull back through that cover there, as you see them doing here. So there's 2 connectors. They connect and the base to the chair and supply power. Now on the remote you have a whole bunch of different functions, different buttons you can push. You can press the open cabin and everything pops open for you. And basically we're going to go through all the buttons on the remote control here. He's pressing on the armchair there. So he's clicking close cabin, 0 gravity. This is kind of cool. The legs come up and it tips you back and the whole thing rotates. Pretty nice and comfortable. I can see where you might want to enjoy playing a long game in a comfortable position. So you can close the 0 gravity. If you notice on the base of the chair, there's still white paper, and you just saw the footrest lift up, pedal rises up, and now they're putting it back down. That's a function I did not test, and I need to test that when I go back. Here they're raising the arm. I suppose if you're doing something that you need to look up a lot, maybe, I don't know, but you can position the screens right where you want them. Maybe you're taller, you want them up a little higher. That works. Let's see here. Keyboard tray open so you can get in and out of the thing. Sure, that works. But when the monitors are on there, you have to raise it up or you're not getting in and out of the thing. It also comes with a remote control. I haven't had time to play with. So I need to get the remote control. You can change the LED colors on the top of the chair. There again, there's that paper I told you not to remove earlier. So, looks good. Also, another function I don't remember seeing is the massage control. I'm definitely going to check that out. I have to go out and finish mounting the monitors for this chair. I'll tell you more about that. Installing the monitors. Now, this part you've already seen where we do the head install that the monitors all mount to. This part, I'm not sure what they're trying to show you here, but you want to make sure that not is tight, I guess. Now, the monitors I have were not flat surface mount like you see in this one. The monitors I have are quite different, and I'm going to show you what I had to do to get my monitors to mount properly. Alright, when I went to mount the monitors, you have 3 mounts here. These go out on the outer arms. This is the center one. This is the other outer arm. The problem I ran into is when I went to mount them onto the Ultra Gear 24 GN 650 24-inch monitors, I discovered this little problem. Bring you up. It's just this monitor. This has not a problem with the chair at all. Just letting you know what I ran into here. That won't fit in there. It's recessed and it just won't go. So let me show you what I mean. Here we go. We're gonna remove the screws. Okay. Now, see, it just won't go down, so you're left with a gap. And if these were bigger and it would sit on the edge, that would be okay. But there's no way to get that to mount on that screen. So, we're gonna go ahead and do a little grindy here. So close. A little bit more off of that corner. There. Good enough. There we go. Oh, nope, still not. Yep, there it is. Alright. Now you see it sits down in here, which will allow me to reuse the screws. Now, I want to make this one the center. So I'm going to do this one. Same problem. Grind it down. Alright, see if that fits. Nice. Alright. So, we're still waiting for the third monitor to show up. Yeah, we'll get this thing mounted back on the chair. Alright, once you get the mounting plate on the back of your monitor, you need to put 4 screws through that mounting plate, and you need to have them loose enough that they drop down into the slotted holes on the arm. Then there's a locking plate that you need to put on with the slots going up, and it all makes sense when you put it together, but you see how he's got the slots up that way, and then you tighten them down. That should hold that center monitor in place just fine for you. Now you want to mount the left and right monitors. In this video, they're mounting the monitors after the brackets are on the arms. Not sure if you have to do it that way. And it looks like those brackets are slightly different than the ones we have had to shave down. So I wonder if it's a different style. But either way, there's 6 screws holding that bracket onto the arm. Seems like overkill. The other thing I want to point out is the power cord that comes with this thing is a weird looking power strip. It uses a universal USA / European plug arrangement. So it looks like your monitors won't plug into it, but they will. So you need to reassemble all the stuff inside the front of the arm and start hooking up your monitors. It's just a display cable and a power cable. So the only thing I haven't actually done this part yet in this video, so I'm not sure how it's going to turn out because the power cords for the monitors I have rather large outlets on them, and I'm not sure they will actually fit inside this little compartment here. So I'm gonna let you know how that goes. I'll leave a comment, but I think they will, but it's going to be tight quarters. So there you go. You need to, I don't know why he's putting that on right now. He hasn't plugged anything in yet. So you need to plug in all your wires behind that cover before you put the cover on. Interesting. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it very much. This chair was an interesting build for me. The video, of course, was from the factory. But hopefully this video will help somebody that's interested in getting one of these chairs, and maybe you would just want help installing one. So thanks for watching. Hit subscribe, like, thumbs up. Bye-bye.